Joining me now, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson and California Congressman Devin Nunes. Congressman Nunes, let's start with you. What we're seeing right now, do you see a possible bait and switch being pulled on the Republicans here?
Well, I do, because you kind of stated in your opening, but mostly on Facebook, it's folks that are older. You don't see a lot of kids on Facebook. Instagram, it's kind of the age between 20 to 50 that are on Instagram. There are some teenagers on Instagram, but the big boogeyman here that nobody's talking about is TikTok. TikTok's where all the kids are, all the little kids, and there's no regulation there. So I think Republicans should be very careful here. If anything, we ought to be investigating Zuckerberg for the $350 million that he invested into so-called nonprofit groups that got involved in our election. And I think that's where the focus should be. That's what every single member of Congress should be asking on an everyday basis, not falling into some trap of figuring out some scam where we're going to have a bureaucracy of people that are going to just do good things, which is, i.e. means going to censor conservatives.
And Democrats, Senator Johnson, aren't just looking to use social media to silence political dissent, but also scientific dissent.
Last week, YouTube announced it was swiftly banning all anti-vaccine misinformation. And I've long called on Facebook to take similar steps. We know the effect of this. We know that over half the people that haven't gotten the vaccines, it's because of something that they've seen on social media.
Senator Johnson, you were actually blocked yourself from YouTube. What do people have to understand about what's at stake here?
Well, first of all, I completely agree with your assessment. The left, by and large, likes media and social media as they are. What they're trying to do is stomp out the last little tidbit of conservative thought that's sneaking through Facebook. And so we shouldn't fall for it. You know, Mark Zuckerberg, as Devin Nunes was talking about, the financing of elections, he pretty well took over the election system in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and had a great deal of influence in 4 or 5 other Democrat counties. So he obviously is not trying to support free speech. I do agree that he's primarily about making money, and he's craven in terms of how he's willing to do it. But that starts with parental control. And quite honestly, the best pushback is going to be the free market solutions to get competitors to Facebook. But I've never felt there's really a legislative solution because the Democrats like the status quo. They're not going to cooperate with Republicans to really rein in the social media companies, because what liberal misinformation has ever been labeled misinformation
Never.
By Facebook. What they did do, by the way, is they actually shut down Facebook groups of the vaccine injured so that people lost touch with members of these groups that were suicidal. They can no longer counsel them. That's what Facebook did in terms of censorship of, I guess, conservative thought. You can't mention the vaccine injuries that we're all aware of.
And Facebook's Zuckerberg posted a statement tonight right before the show in response to the hearing. It's very long-winded, but it says, in part, similar to balancing other social issues, I don't believe private companies should make all the decisions on their own. That's why we've advocated for updated internet regs for several years now. I've written op-eds outlining the areas of regulation we think are most important related to elections, harmful content, privacy, and competition. Congressman Nunes, does he actually think there's going to be a law written about what you can post regarding an election? Is that what he's getting at?
No, what's going on there is he had about 72 lawyers and all of his political people who said, look, this is the place you need to land. We need to land here to say that we're for something. And look, you would need 60 votes in the Senate to actually pass a law, number one. Number two, of course, Biden and his regime would love to write the rules. And of course, Zuckerberg would welcome it, because if you have Attorney General Merrick Garland drafting the rules, it's going to be perfect for Zuckerberg and Twitter and Google and all of them. So it's really where they're trying to take us to.
And Senator Johnson, very quickly, on this DOD announcement tonight that there will be continual surveillance of social media posts, and that, I promise you, is just the start of what they're going to do to our troops and other DOD officials, staffers. Real quick, your take on that new development?
I think we need to be very concerned that our generals are now more concerned with wokeness than they are military readiness. And I think they're purging the military. They're trying to get rid of any conservative out of the military, particularly in the higher ranks.
It's part
And
of
it
the
should
purge.
concern everybody.
Isn't it part of the purge here?
Precisely, and that should concern every American.
Gentlemen, so great to have you both on tonight. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.